Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I cut my son's hair, or we can call it men's haircut 101. Just so you guys know, I am not a barber, but I am a cosmetologist. So I'm licensed to cut hair. Here I'm just showing you what I have. Let's start off with these extra guard clips. They're a special size. It's a half and an inch and a half. So this has been helping me blend out those lines, and I highly recommend them. I mean, the guard set is okay, but these two, it's a must if you're a beginner. And then we have a barber comb, and then also a sanex strip. You don't have to do this if you're just cutting one person, but I'm cutting like my son's hair, my boyfriend, my cousins, pretty much everyone in my family. So you need a sanex strip to keep it clean. And then I have thinning shears and regular shears, and I use this to cut any long hair or whatever. And then yeah, did I mention the barber comb? This one you really have to get. And then some butterfly clips if you want to tie down the hair. And yeah. Okay, so here's my son. He usually gets a taper fade. I'm not really good with terms when it comes to men's cuts, but then when I see it, I just do it type of thing. And he's been having this perm for over a year now, and he's like, "Mommy, it's time to go." So anyway, I'm gonna do one side of his head first, just so I can show you guys, and so this video won't be too long. Any clippers has this lever. It's either you go down or up, and this will determine how short or how long your haircut will be. I like using the barber comb to kind of guide me not to cut too much, or just to help me blend out those lines. When it comes to the number system for the guards, it really depends on the person how long or short they want it. So for my son, he likes a number 3 because it's in the middle of being too short and being too long. It's just perfect for him. So I start off with that first. And please don't mind my hand movements. I had originally recorded this with my voice, but I decided just to do a voiceover instead because I was talking way too much and talking really slow. So this will save us time. With any men's cuts that I do, I like to have the lever down to begin with. And then I'm just going to show you half of his head just so you have an idea how it blends and all that. The highest number I'm going to be doing for his hair would be a number 3. So I'm going to use the 3 all over the sides, and then from there I go one level down. So the next one would be maybe a 2 or a 1. It just depends on what you are going for. So the base number is pretty much done. I did it all over. And what you want to do next, if they have hair on their face, their neck, ears, or whatever, you want to like kind of brush it all off, because especially with kids, they get irritated really fast and they're gonna get itchy or whatever. So you want to like brush that off. And then here I got a nail brush to just kind of clean my clippers so it's clean, and whenever you go through or pass through the hair, you don't have those little hairs coming off and it's just gonna be a big mess. So I got one of these brushes. It's really soft, so it doesn't hurt them. Just brush off any excess hair, because I'm telling you, when it's hot and you're giving them haircuts, like, you want to keep it neat. The next step I'm gonna do would be the shortest part of his fade, and I have the lever down still, and I decided to do this next because if you don't have a coolant, that's the thing that you spray to keep your clippers cool, you want to do the shortest part first, because if that metal thing on the clipper gets really hot, you don't want to burn anyone's skin. So if you're not fast, especially if you're a beginner, you're definitely going to be slow. So you want to just get it over with, clean that area like what I'm about to do. And like I said, I'm just going to do partial of his hair so you guys can see. So this would be considered a half because the lever is still down, and he likes it kind of low, so I would say like mid fade. And then as you can see, I'm gonna do it on his sideburns also. So I'm just aligning it with the back. Make sure you're not shaky, very steady hands. Don't mess this up because then it will show if it's not straight. So the way I like cutting my son's hair is more of a like a tiny U shape. It's not super straight as you can see because his head is kind of round there, and he just likes that shape. So with this length, you can definitely go a little higher if you want, but for my son, we like to do it from here because he likes that taper fade look. So it's up to you, and then you can have it straighter if you'd like. You can get creative once you have the basics down, I promise, but for now this is what we're doing. So from here, I moved up to the number 1 clip. It's still short. As you can see, I just created this like step and that's what they call it. And I just did one side for now so I can show you guys the other side. It's about 1 inch in width, and I have the lever down with the 1 clip. And I'm just gonna follow that guide. I'm not trying to go too high because I know I'm going to be blending a whole bunch later. So just follow that along all around. You don't have to take big movements. As you can see here, very minimal. And don't be afraid to fold their ears back because you want to get that away from the clippers. And just do the same thing all the way to the front hairline. Okay, so from here, I'm switching to the 1.5 clip and still have the lever down. And I'm gonna create another step right above that first step. And same thing, you're just gonna do like 1 inch or so with the heights or with whatever you wanna call it. And when it comes to going in with your clippers, and don't do like straight up movements like this. Try to do a C curve movement. So this way it'll prevent you from going too high, and it'll be easier for you to blend the lines later on. So after I've done that, there's always this sharp line or sharp edge on top of it, like right there. I'm gonna do a close-up for you guys and actually turn him to the side. And this is where your barber comb comes in. So you want to comb through with a barber comb, and as you can see, you have those like long length still, and I'm gonna use the shorter hairs on the bottom as a guide. And from there, you just gotta remember, don't put the comb against the head. It's kind of floating away from the head, if that makes sense. And then you can use your clippers to just go over it like so. And make sure their head is stiff, not moving too much, because if they move and you move that clipper, you can really mess up the hair and you might end up blending way higher than expected. So if the clipper is not cutting that much hair, then go ahead and remove the clip that you have and slowly go over it without a clip and the lever down. And this way you can get really tight and really close to the parts that you want to remove. So now, as you can see, it's pretty blended right on top, and then we just have to worry about the bottom section. And yeah, you can definitely see the line still down there, but I love how this isn't sharp anymore. It's more rounded. So going back to the lines that we had created earlier, now it's time for us to blend it. I'm gonna go in with the 1/2 inch clip just because it's gonna blend out this line, or it's gonna try to. And with the lever down, it's gonna keep the hair still long, so you can kind of just go over it to see if it's even gonna take out any hairs. So that's what I'm gonna be doing right now. And whenever you're trying to blend something, make sure you follow along the lines. Like, you don't want to move on till you've gone over this line. This will show you if it needs more blending. And then as you can see here, there's some areas that are still kind of long. So I need to go a little shorter or higher with the lever just so it can blend better. But I'm just doing little tiny movements, so I'm not cutting too high. Like I said before, you want to do it slow, not too high. Do see movements and see, like, on the left side it's really harsh, and on the right you can tell that it's slowly blending it out. It won't be perfect the first time you try to blend it, so you kind of just have to use your eye, you know, really look at it, what's wrong with it. And right here you can still see there's like that patch. And so what I'm gonna do now is kind of put the lever a little higher, which it'll be like halfway. So that's all the way up, and then I'm just gonna go a little tiny bit just to see if it's gonna cut any more hair. So if this doesn't work, if it's still not cutting hair, then I will go higher. And then if that still doesn't work, then I'm gonna remove the clip and then lower the lever down again, because then with no clip, it's actually short. So yeah, if that makes sense. Oh, and another thing, don't be afraid to stretch out or pull away their skin or scalp, because sometimes people have rolls on their heads and you need to pull those away so you can see better. And also sometimes, like, you keep trying to blend it, but then they just have too much rolls on their heads that it just doesn't look right. It still looks dark or bulky. But yeah, don't stress about it, because sometimes it's just their heads, you know, it's not your fault. So anyway, I decided to put the lever up because I can still see a little tiny bit of that line. And I'm just gonna go ahead and try to blend that some more. Another trick that I like to do when I can't get rid of that line with the clippers being flat, I like to put the clippers sideways like this, and I use the last 3 teeth and just go over that line, and it usually does the trick. So you just have to be careful not to go too high, because you can nick off like a lot or a big chunk of the hair that are long. So do this on the shortest part of the hair. So whatever you did in the back, that's what you're gonna do in the front. And then here I'm gonna use the barber comb. Remember how I did the back, that sharp edge in the back? It also has it in the front. So pretty much this step is repetitive, and it just, yeah, like, it just blends it better. Now we're gonna move on with the edger. And the edger, trimmer, whatever you want to call it, this will give a clean lineup. It will clean out those baby hairs, the super tiny hairs. You can actually use this as a 00 when you're doing a fade, but that's for another video. A lot of you had actually messaged me about you cutting your husband or your kid's skin when doing the edger. And this is because you guys hold it like this. when cutting or creating that line. This is pretty sharp, and so when you hold it like this, yes, it will grab the skin also. So try to hold it up like this, and trust me, you will not cut anyone's skin ever again. It doesn't matter what angle you do it, but make sure you're holding it away from the skin. And also make sure that they're not moving too much, because yeah, like even if you're careful, if they're moving, they're getting tickled or whatever, yes, you might end up cutting them too. Once you've created that perfect line, you can actually flip the edger just to clean out the rest of the neck, like so. So now you're gonna have to do around the ears, and when it comes to that, make sure you hold down the ears. Try to cover as much as you can, and use the last 3 teeth of the edger in an angle, like so. This will prevent you from cutting or nicking their skin, because typically or usually people get cuts around this part right here. So like I said earlier, make sure they're not moving too much, and try to be steady with your hands, because this part, this skin right here, is so sensitive. And then I just clean up his sideburns. He usually likes an ice pick, so I do the same movements like the back. I just create a clean line and do it in an angle when I'm getting closer to the hairline. We are finally done on the sides, and now we're gonna cut off all this hair. So we decided to do a number 8. So this is the highest clip guard that I have, and we're just going over his whole head. And hair grows in different direction. So here you see me going in one direction, but then after I do this way, then I go like the opposite, the sides, just so you don't miss any hair. After cutting the top, you can see there's like that dent right there, and I hate that. So I'm gonna go back with a number 3 guard, because that's the last number, or the highest number we use for the sides, and go in with my barber comb and do a clipper over comb technique. The lever was still down, and then I put it halfway or all the way up just to see if there's any hairs that can come off with that. And then if it still doesn't take it off, then I go with a lower guard, which is a number 2. One more thing I want to add, you guys. When you keep blending the hair and you know for a fact it's blended, it's all there, it looks good, but then it still looks kind of disconnected, reassess the hair, because sometimes if you think about it, what if they were wearing a hat, or for example, my son had a bun and he was laying all day, so the hair was flat, and he needs to shower again and wash his hair for the real volume to come out. So do not stress about this. If you're just doing your husband's or your kid's hair, it's fine. They just need a shower. Well, that is it, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you guys learned something. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share. Do what you have to do. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Come on, just smile. I'll tickle you. going. Turn to, okay, turn to the back. Turn to the other side. Okay, turn here.